Alright guys, for breakfast, this is a very easy recipe. It's kind of like throw everything you have in your fridge together. You can add whatever kind of veggies you want to this. This is basically just going to be a vegetable hash. I do have some hash browns here. I took them out so they can kind of defrost a little bit since they're still pretty hard. But you'll need hash browns. You can use any hash browns you prefer. Some sun-dried tomatoes. I'm going to be adding that in here. You'll need whatever vegetables you want. I'm doing zucchini, a white onion, and I have these little peppers left over from another recipe that I need to use up. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in there. And I actually love peppers in my breakfast casseroles. It's so good. I have 4 slices of turkey bacon. I'm going to pop in the microwave and cook. I just cover it with a paper towel. Cook it for like 3 minutes, 30 seconds, and it comes out perfect. I'm going to add a little bit of light sour cream to the mixture. And for the cheese, I'm going to do reduced fat feta. And then I have some eggs here I'll be using. Some salt and pepper to season, and garlic and onion powder. These are my go-to. I always season with this. So that is all that I am putting into this casserole. I'm going to first go ahead and cut up the veggies and start microwaving the bacon. So what I like about these little casseroles is, one, they're really easy to make from things that are just kind of like in your fridge that need to be used up. And 2, they're microwavable friendly the next day. Very easy to microwave them, and they're usually pretty low in points because you're using veggies and eggs, which are both 0 points. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut these up pretty finely, cut my onions and my zucchini. Add it to the bowl, and I will show you what I do next.
Slowly kisses passing by the river. I've been missing your strawberry kiss, 'cause nothing is sweet. The taste still drives me crazy. My strawberry kisses.
I like to kind of finely chop my sun-dried tomatoes. So I just kind of do like a rough chop. There we go. That's probably good enough. Add that to the bowl. Gosh, I love sun-dried tomatoes. Alright, bacon is done. It's not going to be too crispy, but that's okay because I wanted it to also cook in the oven. So here's the bacon. I'm going to just cut it up, add it to the bowl.
Fly through the wind.
Alright, I have 1/3 cup of the reduced fat feta going into this bowl. Now with a smaller bowl right here, I'm going to go ahead and crack 8 eggs into this bowl. I'm actually going to do 10 because I just realized I'm going to probably need more liquid because of the hash browns. So I'm doing 10 eggs. You could do 8 and add milk, but I don't have any unsweetened milk I want to use for this. And then inside of the egg mixture, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of the light sour cream. I'm going to add salt, pepper, and then garlic and onion powder. grab your casserole dish. We're going to spray it with olive oil spray. So there's 1 cup and 2 cups. So just layer the bottom. Well, should I do one more? Okay. Maybe we'll do like 2.5. So like 2.5. Here's that mixture of all the veggies. I am going to kind of like give it a little toss, because I never really tossed it together. Just so that everything's mixed in. I'm going to add that. And then after that, I'm going to pour the egg mixture on top. And it'll kind of seep to the bottom. So just pour it evenly. Then to the top of this, I'm just going to add some onion and garlic powder and pepper, no salt, just so that the top layer has some seasoning. Alright, here it is. I'm going to go pop this into the oven and let it bake. Alright, you guys, the veggie casserole with hash browns is done. It looks so good. I can see like the bacon and the sun-dried tomatoes on it, on the top. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to cut this into 6 servings. That's how I'm going to count the points for, serving-wise. So I'm going to cut this into 6 servings, and then I'm going to store it in its containers. So 1, 2... Alright, there we go. Looks so good. I'm going to pop it into its container. Alright guys, for the next recipe we're going to be making a tomato soup. It is going to be a homemade tomato soup, just so that the points are lower, because Campbell's tomato soup is a little bit higher in points. It's like 4 points for half a cup. So to keep this low, I'm going to be blending up these Roma tomatoes. So I will show you how to do that. It's honestly not that hard at all. So I do have 2.5 pounds of Roma tomatoes. It came out to be like $1.86 or something crazy cheap like that from Walmart. So I am using about that much, 2.5 pounds. You'll need a green pepper, a white onion, garlic cloves, vegetable stock. This is the unsalted vegetable stock. You'll need fat-free evaporated milk. I have some fresh parsley. And then you'll need, I am using 1/2 pound of shrimp. This is about all we have. So we got 1/2 pound there. And then to season the shrimp, I am using Tony's seasoning. You could use Old Bay, but we love Tony's, so that's what I'm going to be seasoning the shrimp with. And then for the soup, you'll need salt and pepper, onion and garlic, and then I have basil and oregano dried. We're going to be adding that, and then you will need a blender. So I do have my blender out right there. A lot of garlic, because I love garlic. So I have 6 cloves of garlic. Some are pretty small, so go based off kind of like how much you like garlic. Me and Joey really enjoy garlic, so I'm doing 6 cloves of that. Over here in your pan, go ahead and spray it with olive oil spray. Put your garlic to to the pan. And we're just going to keep this on low and let it cook down while we cut the tomatoes. So we don't want it to cook too fast because cutting the tomatoes does take a little bit of time. So just keep it on low. You're just going to cut them up in small enough sizes to like cook. So I'm just cutting them like into 4 like that. And then place them in a bowl because we're going to cook these down. Might cut them into 6. So either 4 or 6 depending on how big they are. Cut the ends off. Alright guys, next we're going to add the tomatoes to the pan. It's going to be a lot. Dump that in there. This is the fun part. This is when it's going to take a little bit of time because you're going to cook these down and get them to where they're super wilted and soft and all that good stuff. So put the temp back onto like medium-high. Alright, and then you're just going to place a lid on and let it cook down. And just keep checking it and stirring it. If it gets a little burnt on the end, that's even better because it tastes really good. So just let this cook down, give it some time, and I'll show you what to do next. Alright, next you just want to cut up 1 white onion and a green pepper, dice it up. I'm probably just going to skip this part because you guys have seen me cut veggies so many times and you guys know how. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these up and then put them to the side, and we're going to cook those a little bit later. Alright guys, so I've been stirring it. It's been about 10 minutes with it covered. It smells so good. As you can see, look at all the liquid that's starting to form. That's kind of when you know it's getting close to being ready. I'm going to let it sit and simmer for another 2 to 3 minutes, just so that the outer bit of the tomato gets a little bit softer, the skin, and then we'll go ahead and blend it up. Alright guys, the tomatoes are done. They look so good. So you just pour it into a blender. Ooh, one fell out. Ooh! Some of them keep falling out. Oh my gosh. And the garlic is in there, and the liquid from them cooking down. This is a good, like, healthy version of homemade tomato soup because there's not a lot of sodium and no sugar going into it, so it's just really good. And it's going to taste amazing. So here it is. This is what it looks like in all its glory. And then next, I'm just going to blend it up, and then we're going to place it back into a pot, and then I'll show you what all to do next. So I'm going to go ahead and blend this. Guys, next in this pan, I'm going to turn it on, and we're going to cook the onions and the green peppers. This is the same pan I cooked the tomatoes with. I didn't clean it, so just extra flavor really. So I'm going to pop the onions and green peppers in here. That cook down, and then in this pot, turn it on, put it on low, and here is the tomatoes blended up. We're going to go ahead and pour that into this pot. Yum. Next, I'm going to add the vegetable broth. I'm adding the whole thing because we are making a big batch. Next, I have the fat-free evaporated milk. This is 1/2 cup. I'm going to add that first. Give it a mix. And then I'm going to add one more half cup. So 1 cup total. And that's perfect. So it'll be a little creamy. Alright, next I'm going to add the seasonings. I'm adding onion and garlic powder. It looks like I'm adding a lot, you guys, but this is a lot of soup, and it needs flavor, so don't be too shy with the onion and garlic powder. I'm going to add some dried basil. Some dried oregano. And then salt and pepper. Alright, and then give that a good stir. Alright, and then just place the lid on, let it cook, get to like a bubbling simmer, and then just keep stirring your onions and green peppers because we are adding this to the soup, so you want them like really wilted and cooked well. Alright, the veggies are pretty much done, so last I'm just going to spray, I can't believe it's not butter on them, just to add some flavor. So just spray them and then mix them up. Just be careful putting this in there so it doesn't splatter on you. Alright, place the lid back on. And then last, in this pan where we cook the veggies, you're going to spray it with olive oil spray one more time. Because we are going to cook the shrimp next. So get this hot, and then with the shrimp, for the shrimp I'm going to add some Tony seasoning in here first. I'm actually going to add a little bit of black pepper. Alright, so I tossed it in its seasonings to the pan. Alright, you guys, the shrimp is done cooking. That is what it looks like. Next, I'm going to add the shrimp. I'm going to add croutons. Add some avocado. I'm going to add a pinch of cheese. Enough to keep it zero. And some reduced fat sour cream. Then I'm going to top it with some pepper. And voila! That is the soup. It has shrimp, cheese, avocado, croutons, and sour cream. And it's homemade, and it's so good. Alright guys, for dinner I'm going to be making an eggplant lasagna. For the noodle replacement, I'm just using eggplants, and this is going to be a vegetarian dish. There's no meat in this dish, just eggplant, and then ricotta cheese. This is made with part skim milk, some Parmesan cheese. I have some low-calorie Prego tomato sauce, traditional flavor, and some mozzarella. This is fat-free mozzarella. And then some fresh parsley, and then for seasonings we have salt and pepper, garlic and onion, dried basil, and oregano. Okay, so for the eggplant, you're going to cut the ends off. Okay, so for the eggplant, you're just going to slice it into thin slices to kind of mimic a noodle, like a lasagna noodle. So try to cut them as thin as you can. They need to look something like this. Alright, so now I'm just cutting the eggplant like so, right down the middle. So first you're going to cut it, you'll cut it into this size, and then take some scissors and just cut it right down the middle. That just makes it a little bit easier to eat, quicker to cook. Just cutting them all. Alright guys, in a separate bowl, I have 2 cups of the ricotta cheese, and I'm adding 1/4 cup of the Parmesan to this. And then in the cheese mixture, I'm going to add some garlic, some onion powder. We're going to add some pepper. Pink Himalayan salt. And then a little bit of dried basil. Let's mix this together. And then I'm going to add the first layer of eggplant down. And then I'm going to add the cheese. And I'm going to add the sauce. And you're just going to keep layering this way, the eggplant, the cheese, and the sauce, until you're all done. Alright, I have 1/2 cup of the fat-free mozzarella. I'm going to add 1 cup total. So I'm going to do this layer first. I might even do more than 1 cup. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, we're going to do more than 1 cup for sure. I think I'll do, I don't know. We'll see. Here's 1/2 cup. So 1 1/2 cup total. Here's the last half. Put that all over. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so good. Alright, last I'm going to add my fresh parsley to the top. Basil. Garlic and onion powder. Just add all of that to the top. Onion powder. There we go. Wow, look at this. It is massive. Now we're going to go ahead and pop this into the oven and let it bake. Alright guys, look at this eggplant lasagna. Looks so good. The cheese is melted perfectly. And I'm just going to let it cool so that it's a little bit easier to cut when I'm ready to put it in its containers. But yeah, this is going to be good. Alright guys, it's all packed up, ready to go into the fridge. And I wanted to show you my plate because it is dinner time and I'm meal prepping, so I'm going to go ahead and have a slice. One portion of it, it makes, oh my gosh, how many did it make? It makes 6 servings. One serving is 5 points, so this is the size of one of the portions. I feel like it's a very decent size. 5 points, and then I'm going to have a little salad to go with it. So that's kind of like the whole dinner idea.